couple weeks ago, I made a summer books recommendations video, and at the end, I made a little summer book TBR for myself. Books that I thought would give me summery vibes or new releases that are coming out this summer that I wanted to read. So I figured I would try to work my way through at least a couple of them with you guys in this video and try to hold myself accountable. So I found the video that I made, and the 5 books that I put on my TBR were A Look For You Everywhere, which is still not out yet, but it is going to be one of my #1 reads this summer. I just know it. Abby Jimenez's Just for the Summer, Done and Dusted, In a Jam, and then Wild Love. Now let's talk about transparency. I started Wild Love months ago, like right when it came out. I got about 15% in and DNF'd it. I did DNF it, but not like permanently. I just put the book down and decided to come back to it later. I just wasn't feeling it at the minute, and it's very sad because I love Elsie Silver and I really want to love that book, but at the time I just wasn't working for me. So I'm gonna come back to that at some point. But the day before yesterday, I picked up Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This is a book that's been out for a couple months now, and it's been on my TBR since it came out because I read the first 2 books in this series by Abby Jimenez and absolutely ate them up. 4 stars, so good. I was hesitant going into this book, but I honestly don't know why. I don't think I should have doubted Abby Jimenez because in the 2 days I am already 50% of the way through and I am loving this book so far. It's really good. I honestly just shouldn't doubt Abby. Like, she's gonna hit every single time, and she is this time too. This follows our main characters Emma and Justin, and what's funny about them is they both find that when they date people and then they break up, their exes go on and meet the love of their life. So it's like a curse that they have that by leaving them, people go on and meet their soulmates, and so they both realize that they both have this like curse. They decided maybe they can fake date each other for a couple weeks and then break up, and then in breaking up they would like reverse the curse and they would each find their own soulmates. It's an interesting plot concept, and I do love the characters so far, especially Justin. He is such a nerd, he's such a cutie, he's such a sweetheart. They both have a lot of trauma. Both of their dads are actually out of the picture and or deceased, and their moms are very much troublemakers for each of them, so it's interesting that they have a lot that they can relate to on. They definitely have different problems in their life. In fact, Justin is about to take custody of his 3 younger siblings, which is a lot, and Emma has commitment issues, so they definitely have different things going on, but I feel like they can relate on a lot of things, and they seem to be very much there for each other emotionally, which is good to have that emotional connection before a physical connection, even though they are just strangers to lovers, not like a friends to lovers thing. Like I said, I'm really enjoying this, so I will let you guys know when I get further in the book what I think about it, and then hopefully we can start to tackle a little bit more of my summer TBR in this video. Hello, it's the next day. It is Tuesday. I'm actually about to hop on a Zoom meeting, so I don't have much time for an update, but yesterday I think I told you guys I was 50% of the way through Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, and last night I read another quarter, so I'm currently at 75% of the way through. The book is really good. Justin is honestly carrying this plot. Emma's a good character, I like her well enough, but Justin is just the sweetest guy ever. Like the epitome of if he wanted to, he would. He like plans their dates and like gives her surveys and stuff asking about what they want to do and things like that. And he's just like going the extra mile for things. Like I said yesterday, Justin is taking custody of his 3 younger siblings, and so there are a lot of kids in this book because he's interacting with them and also she's interacting with them. But I feel like you can really tell if it's a good author if they can make you like kids in a book, because I love kids in real life, but usually in books, like I don't want to read about them. They're kind of annoying, they take up time that I don't care about. So the fact that I actually really like these kids and I want to know like not more about them, but I want to have the characters interact with them means that their story is written really well. So props to Abby Jimenez for that. The one problem I'm having is the miscommunication issue, which the first 2 books in the series both had a 3rd act miscommunication breakup problem thing, which was why I gave them both 4 stars, not 5. Miscommunication is not my trope. I don't like it. However, this one I guess isn't miscommunication because they are talking to each other and having conversations, but because she is a travel nurse and because she's only in his city for a certain amount of time before she goes on to the next city with her best friend. Did I mention that as part of the plot? I don't know if I mentioned that yesterday, but that is part of the plot. So it's like a limited time situation. So although Justin feels very much like all in on her, she doesn't really feel like she's reciprocating that. And also, like I said, her commitment issues are coming through again. So yeah, that's a little frustrating to read about. I mean, it's realistic for sure, but it's also, I'm just predicting not a 5-star because of that. I don't want to speak too soon. I think a good 4-star will be a great rating for this book. So yeah, I'm basically just excited to finish it and see how the book ends. Okay, I need to jump on my meeting now, so talk to you all later. New filming location unlocked. Who is she? It's difficult because when I'm filming at my house, there are like different places obviously, but the lighting is always weird, or there are people in the house talking and I never have a place to like have a quiet room. So anyway, I wanted to update because I finished Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez this morning, and I wanted to give my final thoughts. I think my final rating for this is actually going to be 4 stars. That's a really good rating for me. I really enjoyed it, but honestly I was hoping for maybe a 5-star from Abby. Although I did love it, especially Justin. He was like my favorite character. I talked about this yesterday, but he's just amazing. Overall, I think Abby just cannot get out of that like 3rd act breakup conflict, and I wish that she could, because that's like the one thing that brings all of her books down a star for me. I'm not saying that 4 stars is a bad rating. Like I said, this is a fantastic book. A lot of really good quotes in here, but I've heard some people say it was like their favorite book of the year so far, and for me it's just not the case. And I just wish that authors would have like a better, more creative way to like add a last minute conflict to the book. I mean, the one thing I did love about this book was the way that they handled conflict, because the reason they broke up technically wasn't like completely out of the ordinary. Like it was for mental health reasons, for like personal growth reasons. It wasn't just because I can't be with you for no reason at all, which is good if you have to rank a miscommunication trope as on the better side of it. And I also really liked the personal growth that our main character Emma went through, the issues with her mother, and also that last minute plot twist. The connections were really cool there, but again, miscommunication trope, not my fave. Anyway, 4 stars. I did enjoy it. I feel like I'm speaking very negatively. It was a really wholesome, sweet romance, but that is one book checked off of the summer book TBR. I think I'm gonna go to something else next, but then come back to this video, but you guys are basically about to see in the next clip what I read next. So cue the next book. Hello, happy Sunday. So I've actually completed the 2nd book in this challenge already, which I didn't expect to do so quickly, but I was working today and I just basically listened to an audiobook all day, came home, did some chores, finished the audiobook within a day, and I didn't expect to do that all at once, otherwise I would have updated you like halfway through. Now the book that I finished was Done and Dusted by Lila Sage, and this was really good. I don't want to say that I had low expectations for it, because I didn't, but I've heard this series be compared to the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver, and that is one of my favorite contemporary romance series of all time, and so I thought that I would constantly be comparing it to Chestnut Springs when I read it, but actually I do think there is a distinct difference between the two. They just happen to have the cowboy romance trope, but besides that there is definitely different writing styles, and it's different, you know. They're not the same, they're not copying, it's different. Okay, first let's talk about synopsis. We follow our main character Emmy, who is moving back to her hometown very unexpectedly, very rushed. She basically didn't even tell anyone that she was going back, but she goes back to her friend Teddy, who lives there, and the 2 of the girls go out to a bar that first night. And who does she meet at the bar? No one but Luke Brooks, her brother's best friend. Anyway, the story unfolds. It's a very simple brother's best friend romance. I gave this book 4 stars, and since I finished it, I wanted to read you the review that I put on Goodreads. So I said, finished the audiobook in under a day, super classic romance, but really entertaining, with a surprising mix of spicy scenes and emotional caretaking. Also managed to avoid a 3rd act miscommunication trope, which is my least favorite thing at all in romance. Extra points for that. Overall, very cliche and predictable, but in a sweet way, so 4 stars. Like I said, this book is spicy, like surprisingly so. Not in a necessarily bad way, but just to let you know if you're looking for that or if you're not looking for that, this book does have some pretty intense scenes. One thing I put in my review that I was so excited about, however, was that this book doesn't include a miscommunication 3rd act breakup. This should seem like the bare minimum for a book, like literally rock bottom. And yet I feel like so many books, romance books, just decide to have the characters not have adult conversations, and so they fight and break up last minute, and then they make up in like the last chapter to solve the story. And I'm like, I would much prefer to have a conflict outside of their relationship to be focused on for the last like big conflict in the book. So I was happy that this one was different. Now, was the conflict in this book anything crazy? No. Very simple, very predictable. It was a little bit like too cliche, happy ending, everything just coincidentally fell right into place, but fluffy little cowboy romance. I'm not really looking for intense plot and plot twists and cliffhangers. I'm just looking for a fun time. This book was definitely a fun time, and like I said, no miscommunication, so that's a plus for me. It also had really good ADHD and mental health rep, which I really appreciated, and the guy in this book, Luke Brooks, is so supportive. I really liked his character, especially when he would like help Emmy through mental health things. He was just like really a great male protagonist, so I liked him a lot, and Emmy too. Emmy is really fun, and I'm excited for her friend Teddy's book because I'm pretty sure her book's already out, and I think it's the third one in the series, not the second, but she was such a fun character that I can't wait to read about more. Anyway, 4 stars, Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. This was a really fun read, good for the summer. Audiobook is easy, it's fast, it's fun, and that's basically it. So sorry to make this book short, but let's get on to book 3. Hi there. Hello, how are you? It has been about a little more than a week since I've updated you on this vlog, and that's because I've been procrastinating. There were 3 books left on my summer TBR that I haven't read so far in this video, and I wanted to read I'll Look For You Everywhere by Cameron Capello in this vlog, but unfortunately it's not out yet, and I need this vlog to be out this weekend. So my other options are In a Jam or Wild Love by Elsie Silver, and I decided that I really can't do Elsie wrong by missing out on reading her book again. So I picked up this book last night. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I did soft DNF this book a couple weeks ago because I just wasn't in like the mood, the right headspace for it, and I'm trying really hard to get back into this, but I am just not feeling the vibes. And I don't know if it's a me problem. Like, I don't know if I'm just not letting this book take me and like really immerse me into the story because I'm hesitant, so I'm like judging everything about it. I don't know if I'm like constantly comparing it to Chestnut Springs in my head, and because I'm not getting the Chestnut Springs vibe immediately, I'm not liking it. Like, that's me judging a book based on its other companion books by Elsie Silver, but I shouldn't be doing that because Elsie should be allowed to write whatever she wants to write. If she wants to take a book in a different direction, she should be completely allowed to do that. So I need to let her do what Elsie does best, and that is write a contemporary romance that I eat up. And I know that I need to give her the benefit of the doubt, but for some reason I am just not really enjoying this. I feel so bad. Oh my gosh. So synopsis for a second. This book follows our main character Ford, who is the brother of Willa, who is the love interest in the second Chestnut Springs book. So we kind of have heard of Ford before, but we don't know much about him. And in this book we find out that he's basically like the richest and hottest billionaire ever. Basically, he's a super hot bachelor who's in the music industry and making a lot of money. Now Rosie, the love interest, is his best friend's little sister, but like I don't feel anything for her at all, except for the fact, oh my gosh, except for the fact that she got fired from her big city job because one of the corporate guys was being a perv and touching up on her. So the minute she says something about it to HR, she gets fired. Excuse me? Excuse me? Oh my goodness gracious, if this is what the corporate life is about, I don't want it. Anyway, she leaves her job. Well, she gets fired, but she leaves the job. She leaves her boyfriend, but like they're still together, but she just kind of left him in the apartment in the city and said, hey, I'm going to my parents' house in the country, see you later. And so she dips off to her parents' house, and also her brother lives there, like I said, and so she's kind of just bunking with her brother at his house for the foreseeable future. And Ford obviously knew her from childhood, and so they're supposed to have this like childhood friends to lovers, but like childhood friends to strangers to lovers plot line, except I don't feel the childhood chemistry at all. There is writing of them like joking about how they were in the past, and they're like, ha ha ha, I used to say this thing, or I feel like a little teenager when I'm around him because it reminds me of old times. But like as a reader, for some reason I am not feeling connected to it. Like, they're telling me this, but I don't feel it. And again, maybe that's just my mental block getting in the way of me enjoying this book, but also I have heard people say that this is not Elsie's best book. It's good for sure, but it's not her best thing ever, and so because of that, I'm like, again, judging this book too harshly from only being like 20% in. So I need to not do that. I'm going to push through this book. I'll update y'all soon. I don't know, pray for me, y'all. Pray that this is a good book because I want it to be so good. I want to trust Elsie Silver with my life, but I'm just like, I don't know if I'm feeling it. I'm stressed. Hello. It is with great sadness, unfortunately, that I've come on camera today to tell you that I am going to for real DNF Wild Love. I know, it's so heartbreaking. Elsie Silvergirl, I love the Chestnut Spring series so much. And you know, part of this is a me problem, for sure. I talked yesterday about how I kept comparing this book to her other work, and then also I was realizing last night as I was trying to work through it, I got to like the 25-30% mark, and I was just like, I am just not really in the mood for contemporary romance right now. I've been getting really into fantasy books recently, and in fact I think my next reading vlog is going to be about me reading fantasy books, and you guys will see some of those very, very soon. But I'm not in the mood. And I was telling my mom this last night, but I was like, as much as I want to, I simply don't care about Ford and Rosie right now. Like, they could have the most wonderful love story, but I think that I'm just not in the mood to read it. And it's also the mix of that and the other reviews that I've seen that people are saying this is not her best work, and I'm just like, I just want to read something else. Like, life is too short to force yourself to finish 500-page books that you just don't want to read at the minute. So unfortunately, I have DNF'd Wild Love. I'm not going to rate it because I haven't finished reading it. There is a possibility that in the future I could read it, but chances are slim since I've picked it up twice and put it down twice. We'll see, but it's just not gonna happen right now. I still love Elsie Silver and I love her other work and I want to read more by her, so I am not trying to like put that on Elsie's name. If this premise of a single dad, brothers, little sister romance sounds really interesting to you, then definitely pick this up. Now the sequel is coming out in September, so you know, maybe I'll pick that up, but in the meantime, this is a DNF. So to finish out this very talkative, not so much B-roll heavy reading vlog, overall I read 2.5 of my summer TBR. So basically I failed, actually. Because I read 2 of the 5 books and then DNF'd a third. So this was not very successful. I will say that if Cameron Capello's book was already out, I would have read it in this vlog. I need to get this video up as soon as possible, so I'm not going to read it in this vlog, but I probably will read it in a vlog coming soon. The first book in this video, just for the summer, loved this book. Super, super sweet romance. Justin is everything. He is the book boyfriend of book boyfriends. I know I had some complaints with this book, and I still hold true to those, but I really, really enjoyed Abby Jimenez's 3rd installment in her series. And then I read Done and Dusted by Lala Sage, and this book surprised me. It was better than I thought it was going to be. It was a little cringy, a little cliche, very much predictable. Yes, true. But it was also entertaining, fast-paced. The spicy scenes were spicy scening in a good way. And again, 4 stars. Really enjoyed this. Wild Love. Y'all know my thoughts. Anyway, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this chatty reading vlog. You will definitely see some more reading vlogs coming soon. Subscribe. I post every 4 days during the summer. And that's it from me. I'll stop chatting. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you very soon. Goodbye!